Welcome to the Realist Amateur Boxing Podcast with Coach Pena. This is episode 4, and today we're going to go into the coach's corner right away and talk about some questions that some supporters sent me. Here we go. Let's jump right into this topic. We have a supporter named Tony Spencer from Des Moines, and his question is, when you know your boxer clearly won a match, how do you deal with the horrible judging? Is there anything that can be done? Anything that can be done? Sorry about that. And how do you take a person out of their position if they ain't doing their job correctly? Well, I have no power to take any officials out of judging. That's up to the official in charge of the show. She runs all the judges. I'll be honest with you, keeping it real like always. We've been having issues with judging anyway in Iowa, I think. We just need to remember what this is about. We need to remember it's about the youth. It's not about no one's gym. It's not about a certain person, a certain coach. It's about these kids. So when kids are out there getting, doing a great job, putting all that hard work in they did in the gym, and they don't get the results, you just got to sit them down and talk to them as a coach. I always talk to my kids as a coach after their fight. I sit there. First thing I do is go to the where the doctor is at, so I can get their books, because if not, they're going to lose their books. So I make sure I get that book. Then I'll check the book and see what kind of decision it was. So then I'll sit down and I'll tell them, well, you could have did this, you could have did that, you could have did this, and then keep it at that. And I say, we'll talk on Monday. Usually on Mondays when they come in, we talk about their fights. So you really can't do nothing about it. It's not in your hands. Even if a referee stops the fight, and that's his decision. You got to live with that. As a coach, can you get mad? Yeah, but why would you get mad and make a big scene in front of everybody? Just talk to them after the fights. The fights, not that fight, but when the show's over, say, hey, why was your reason why you stopped the kids? The kids fight. And most of the time they'll tell you exactly why they stopped it. And like I just had a show not too long ago, June 17th, and one of my kids got stopped. And I couldn't understand why he stopped it. So when he came over and came over to my corner, he just came over and told me, I stopped it because he didn't reply back to me. There you go. I told the kid exactly what happened. I said, you got to stop because you didn't reply back to him. When that referee is talking to you, you have to reply back to that referee. Or he can stop the fight, and he did the right thing. You didn't reply back, so he stopped the fight. 2, don't put yourself in that situation. When it was his first fight, when things aren't going well for you, just do what your coaches are telling you to do. You can't sit there and crumble under pressure. Pressure, that's what crumbled him for sure. And he knows it, and we talked about it. Like I said, we got in there on Monday. He was there Monday, and we talked about it. He's still in the gym working hard every day, unless he has to work. That's one thing about these older kids now. A lot of them work, so they can't be in the gym all the time. And I'm not open on the weekends because I got either shows going on or family stuff going on. So I tell them they got to get out there and grind on their own. But not all of them do. They say they do, but they're lying. I already know. But then for this official thing still, there's a lot of things that still could be done about the officials. They're judging a lot different than they used to judge. If people are paying attention, I had just had a podcast with an official on there, and he's told you exactly how they are officialing fights. So you got to coach them kids up to that nowadays. Because for a minute there, I couldn't understand why my kids were losing fights too until I went to my first officials meeting. Then I'm like, that's why she's losing. Because I said, that makes sense now. Because back when I fought, it was aggressiveness, punches landed, with the white part of the gloves. We don't have white part of the gloves anymore. There aren't red color, blue color. So I understand what they're trying to do now. And that's just the name of the game. When things change, you got to adapt to the situation. If you don't adapt to the situation, you're just going to keep failing. So that was a question from Tony Spencer from Des Moines. This one's really cool right here. I had a lady from Ottumwa named April Silskas. I hope I said your name right, April. Her dad used to be a heavyweight Golden Glove boxer back in 1971. I was one, born into this boxing. So she has some questions. I'm going to try to take my time and talk about them, each one of them. So the first one is my main one. Not teachers. You can go that way too. But when parents bring their kids into the gym, the first thing I tell them, I am very disciplined. I'm a very old school coach, and I'm disciplined. I'll discipline them kids. And if you can't handle me disciplining your kids, you got to take them somewhere else. So if you're not disciplining them, let me try. And I'll try to help you. Let them kids realize what's up, what's out there, what you need to be doing, instead of just going off doing what you want to do. Because that's not how it works. That's not how it works. And I see that a lot. And just in general, at my work, out at the baseball diamond yesterday, the discipline there's no discipline anywhere anymore, unless you come to Penny's Boxing Des Moines, where that's all day. You hear that all day. Some parents love it. Some parents, I'm guessing they don't like it because the kids take off. So, and they don't take off just because of that. They take off because boxing just isn't for them. And boxing isn't for everybody. It's for the ones who want it, who want to grind, who want to get better, who want to do this and that. And boxing helps out a lot. It does. It really does. So she says, discipline. How does that look now? What changes can be made for boxers to achieve discipline? It's changed big time. Big time back in the days when my grandfather was coaching. We all know you can cuss kids out, freaking hands on them, whatever you want, because that was back in the day. So I'm not saying he put hands on anyone, but he would talk to you to get your attention. That's for sure. Even if he was talking to someone else, he got your attention. That's for damn sure. So if you didn't want to be talked to like that, then you need to be in there doing what you're supposed to do and go. So I see it's kind of funny with the discipline things, cause I try to do a lot of things just for being disciplined. Stop drinking all that water. Need the water, don't want the water. I keep expressing that. You guys just want the water. You guys want to go there and keep drinking and drinking. No, need that water. Back in the days, we had to spit the water out. My grandfather was in charge of that water bottle. So if he put that water in your mouth and you drank half of it and spit the other half out, he was smacking you upside your head and said, spit it all out. So you knew next time. That was your one warning. And that's kind of what I try to do at my gym. So it is what it is. And they said, then I got a cramp. Yeah, I know why you got a cramp. I know why you run into the restroom, because you're drinking too much water. So just trying to discipline them in that kind of way, and not showing tiredness. I don't let them sit, when they get tired, sit down, lay down, lay against the wall, put their hands on their hips, put their hands over their head. No, we're not doing all of that. You can't show that. That's a sign of weakness. That's a sign of being tired. We can't have that. And I always explain to them, I say, if I look across the corner and I see that kid just hands up on the ropes and just looking up, and I know we're not tired, we're about to turn it up. He just showed his cards, and we're about to make him play his cards real quick. So I teach that. Don't hang on the rope. I can't stand when people lean on the ropes. And it's funny because they have these 3 new kids that just came to my gym. Their dad and uncle and friend, same guy. He was coaching them out of the gym. Now he's with us. And I can just see the discipline rubbing off on them. That one kid seen the other kid with his hands on his gloves, the gloves on the ropes. He went over there and knocked his hands off. That's discipline. He's starting to get disciplined now. Because he was one of them kids earlier in that week who was doing that. So you'll even see kids start to do that, and then they'll jump back and take their hands off the ropes. That's the discipline kicking in. That's what I'm talking about. Discipline can be taught in many ways. You just can't be scared to teach it, because that's what's going on these days. People are scared to teach the discipline because they're worried about getting in trouble. If you teach it to a certain extent, you'll be fine. You'll be fine. Trust me. I never had anyone try to sue me or anything about the way I coach it, because I just do it how I need to do it, and I know how to do it because I watched one of the best, well, not one, the best amateur boxing coach I know do it for a long time. So that's a little bit of the discipline part of boxing. Like I said, that has a lot more to do with it, like eating wise and getting there, working out hard, and wanting to be there. That's the thing, wanting to be there. Don't be there because your parents want you to be there. And I tell them that too. And I say it loud enough so parents can hear me sometimes. I say, you want to be here because you want to be here, not your parents. So I'm getting to a little point where I'm starting to see which ones really don't want to be there. So guess what, parents? Them guys still going to get the basics. They're not getting no extra work because they're not showing me that they want to be there. Now, the ones who were showing me who want to be there and talk about wanting to be there, they're the ones who are going to start getting more of that extra work, because them are the ones who are going to be competing compared to the ones who are just there, which is fine because kids need to be places. I always tell them this is not an after-school program. This is still a boxing club. So come in here ready to work and just keep your hands up and work hard. That's all I ask you to do. And you will get better. Trust me. Okay. Second question, mindset and mental health. What kind of mindset do you have to make it and overcome? Well, that's discipline again. You got to build that mindset up in your head. You got to build this. You got to build that. You got to not be afraid to fail. You got to not be afraid to work hard. You got to have all that stuff, and you got to have a short memory. If something's not working, that don't mean it's not going to work next round. You got to have that mental. You got to have a strong mental mind. The thing is, you build that up over the years. Some people might have that when they come in, but you can see, okay, put it this way, I see straight through people when they walk in the door, what kind of boxer they're going to be, or how much discipline I might have to build into them just to build that mindset up, that mental mindset up. Like I say, all these kids are different. Some have ADHD, ADD. So I need to know all this stuff. I get them mixed up. I think ADHD is the hyper one, I think, and ADD is the one that's the learning. The hyper one is fine because I want them active. I want them wanting to be there. I can control that. See what I'm saying? The ADD is what I kind of need to know too, because then I will understand that it takes them a little longer to remember mindset, to remember what's going on. So then I got to say, okay, this coach, this isn't working this way. Let me try a different way. Like I said in the past, every kid is coachable, but in a different way. So if I see something that is different, I go, hey, coaches, come over here. Let's get together. This ain't working for him. We got to go to a different route with this kid. Okay? Compared to we do with this one over here. So we get together and we go over that kind of stuff. It's just, I like to know that stuff. And another one is, if they have asthma. I don't know if the kid has asthma or not, or if they're just out of shape, not knowing, playing games and not being active. I need to know that stuff because then I keep an eye on them so they're not ready to pass out. Because there'll be some kids that come in there and you think they have asthma, but they don't. They're just out of shape. And but you can see them wanting to work hard. I'm like, see, I like that. That kid is still trying to work hard. He's going to work out until he passes out because he wants to work hard. Okay, so once he starts getting in here and getting through all these hard workouts, it's still going to be hard, but it's not going to be as hard as that moment where he almost passed out. I'm going to say, hey, you okay? Yeah. Well, if not, take a round off. Take a sip of water. If you need to go outside, go get some air real quick, or go in front of the fan real quick, because I don't want you passing out in here. And then when you feel better, get back to work. Some will get back to work and the others will leave. That tells me a lot also of what kind of mindset they have what kind of what kind of boxer they're going to be. Because, like I said, parents and boxers, they want this and want that, especially at a young age. But they don't want to put that grind in. They think they know this, they think they know that, until they figure it out. I'm like, oh, that was harder than I thought. Yeah, and that was nothing. So, just gotta listen to the coaches. Just listen to your coaches. You know what I mean? If anyone like any of my parents have a problem with any of my coaches, I want them to come to me, because I run the gym. Okay, I don't ever say I'm the head coach. We're all coaches, so we all know what we want from the kids. If I hear like, "Wow, this coach telling me something different that you're telling me," well, that's not going to happen. We're going to get together and talk and make it in the middle, because it's not going to be like that. Because I'm not going to sit here and tell you one thing and have another coach telling you a different thing, because that's not how it works. Especially when I have the more knowledge of all the coaches. Because I've been around the game since I was 5. Like I said, one of my favorite parts of the gym was jumping the rope and watching my grandfather coach. We talked about this before. Never thinking I was going to be a coach, because I always thought I was going to be a boxer. But as you get older, you make bad choices. Like I said, once again, should have took that path my uncle took, but I didn't, and now I'm coaching. So now I know from all my mistakes back then, I'm trying to build into these kids today so they don't make them same mistakes. We have some great talent in the gym, but hard work beat talent when talent's not training. That's for dang sure. We have some good talent in there, but not gonna say any names. You guys know who you are. You're not in there every day like you need to be, like certain people are. Those certain people are going to make it further in the sport because they're in there grinding, they're in there learning, they're in there competing, they're in there, putting their mind to the mindset and the mental and all that stuff. And so that was a great question. I like that question. We can keep going on about that question, but we'll leave that for now, because I have on part 2, I have some guests coming in here. So, all right, here's another question. Physical fitness. What do the youth and young people of today need to be doing to achieve their best in and out of the ring? They didn't say active for a fact, for sure, not for a fact, for sure, because we all know these kids aren't active. They're active on that computer, on that phone, on that laptop. That's what kind of active they are. Now I understand some kids need it for like certain things, like say or if they're on it for like school, and that's great, because you're learning something. But we all know that these kids are not. Just put it this way: drive by a park. Back in the days, you seen kids out there playing tackle football, baseball, basketball, swinging, running around playing tag, all kinds of stuff. Like, you drive by parks now, they're empty. There ain't no one out there. It's just sad. Or you don't see anyone riding bikes. Like, anyone back in the day knows where everyone was at, by where the bikes were laying at. Oh, they're over his house. They're over that house. Because that's how we got down. These kids these days don't get down like that. They don't. And I understand the times have changed and stuff like that. But, kids these days, I see them at my job. They're like 1st and 2nd grade, and they have cell phones. I'm like, what the hell? You know what I mean? I'm being honest. I seen I think he was 2nd grade. He had a cell phone one time. I'm like, boy, what do you got a cell phone for? You're only in 2nd grade. But like I said, it is what it is. And these kids just need to get into gyms, even any kind of sport. Just stay active. You don't have to be in a tournament team. There's plenty of local rec sports out there. Just keep your kid active, keep him busy. That's all you got to do. And the physical, and that would help him out so much. That'll help him out that would help him like lose weight. They won't be bored. You know what I mean? When they're at home just playing games, they get bored. They want to drink pop, eat chips and snacks. What is that doing for them? Nothing. Let them go out there and run around, burn a lot of energy. Then get thirsty and hungry. Then they're gonna eat, but they're still gonna get burned off because he was out there running around playing and stuff. So the fitness, that was great. I like that one. It's like I said, it's all in that first one, that mindset, that mental is in anything you do. It has to be like that. It has to be like that. So, Abner, can you grab that door downstairs? All right, sorry about that. My second guest is showing up, and I need Abner. No, sorry, Abraham. Sorry, I called him Abner. Abraham to go down and open the door. My bad, Abraham. Give me a second real quick so I could text him and let him know that he's coming down. All right, sorry about that. So here we go. Let's go to this next one. He goes, what are your thoughts on boxing for fitness only and not competing? What's your thought on a boxer playing other sports? I'm okay with that, the boxing and the fitness part, because I have right now I have a adult workout class, which is great because these guys are coming in just to learn how to box, get in shape, get strong for the fitness part, and they lose weight and all that stuff. That's great. I have no problem with kids coming in. I tell the parents, I have no problem with your kid just coming in to learn the game. Maybe down the road he might compete. You have someone coming in there right now, I'm gonna compete, but they never do, or they leave. So I said, let's do this. Let's just get them in there, see how they like it, and I'll be able to tell if they're getting better and if they're going to want to compete and stuff like that. So I have no problem with that. And for other sports, yeah, we're in a new era now where kids play a lot of sports. I have boxers that are open. Open is 10 fights or more. I have boxers that are open that they do other sports like baseball, wrestling, stuff like that. But I tell everyone this from the beginning: boxing is not a seasonal sport. Boxing is a year-round sport. For the novice part of it, it's okay because you can control the novice part of it. But when you get open, when kids get 10 to hundreds of fights, you can't do other sports. You have to box. You can do other sports, but you better at least make it into that gym 3 days out of that week for at least some kind of training for boxing, because you will fall behind them open boxers and you'll never catch up to them. So that's just my opinion. I've been preaching that for a while now. So you got to definitely let them kids explore the other sports early in the age. But when you get to that boxing part, boxing is not a seasonal sport. Boxing is year round. If you want your kid to be the best boxer and that's what he wants to do, then that's what he has to do. And them kids will figure out if that's what they want to do, because they'll know if the other sport is messing with their boxing. They'll know that. Let's go to this next one. What is your advice on strength training for boxing? That's a big must. I really don't care about lifting a bunch of weights, because we can do other strength conditioning drills with like 10 to 15, even 20-pound balls and kettlebells. We can do them kind of drills, because everyone thinks that just because you have big old muscles, you're tough. That's not right. Because I've seen plenty of guys that come in there all swole and just get whooped, because a lot of that energy gets taken away from you when you have a bunch of muscle, because it takes your energy from you, your stamina from you. If you don't have that built into you, then you're just going to get tired, and you're just going to be a big old heavy bag sitting out there with big old muscles getting beat up pretty much. So that part of it is, I say, don't just do it in the gym. Don't go out to different gyms and sit there and power lift, because I can always tell these guys, you either hit hard or you don't. We got a lot of guys in this gym that think they hit hard, but they don't. You know who you are. But if they would listen to how you're supposed to throw your punches and all the parts you're supposed to use, and timing is a big thing, you can become a hard hitter. Got two more here real quick. Yep, two more questions. What is your advice on coming back from a loss from a fight, especially your very first one? That goes back to novice again. You're learning all at novice. You're getting yourself ready to be an open fighter, where you can come into that next fight when you're not the next fight, but come into the 11th fight. When you have to fight open. You can fight guys that have been fighting for years, 30, 40, 50, 60 fights. It's all learning at novice. You just got to keep that mind, like I said, the mindset and the mental part of it. Explain to them what they did wrong. Work on things to get better. And as long as they're getting better, that's all that matters. Some people get beat, and they get beat, and they get beat, and they give up. You should never give up. You can't give up in this sport. If you give up in this sport, you might as well just don't even do it. You might as well go somewhere else. Just keeping it real on that one. But that goes back to that question that Tony Spencer said. You just got to. There's nothing you can do about officials. Like I tell, there's only one boxer I really tell this. I said, don't leave it up to the officials. Go and stop them, or just pretty much beat his ass. Pretty much. I'm gonna keep it real. That way, there's no question. So then, if you do it that way, and you still get beat, then you can question it, because not only you know, your coaches know, and the audience know who all won that fight. Then you can question that. But always question it after the fight. So don't make a big deal about it during the fight, making yourself look like a goofball. Just say, hey, I need to talk to you after the fight. I want to see some scorecards. And then that goes back to the other question that Tony had about the officials. Then you'll know. This is what I do. This is me. When I get up onto the ring with my boxers, I look and see who all is judging. That's the first thing I do. See who was all judging. So I already know. See what I'm saying? I know, because I can look at the scorecards whenever I want. Do I? No. I've only, in all the years I've done it, I've only looked at it one time, and that was at a Silver Gloves bout. Well, Cesar, the one we talk about, he beats this kid all 3 rounds and got beat. There's no damn way. Everyone knew. The other kid's coach knew. Shit, the kid knew. And so I got that turned around. He still got to go to the regionals and stuff, because that wasn't right. Yeah, I definitely looked at the cards that day, and I even made a phone call to, like I said, I don't care about talking to the higher ups. I call in the boxing, like the presidents, the vice president. I'm gonna tell them how it is, how I feel, keeping it real. They're either gonna like it or they're not gonna like it. Ask me if I care. I don't care, because I'm gonna keep it real anyway. I'm 100 all the time. Even when I'm joking around, I try to keep it 100. Here's my last one. Nutrition. I know that everyone's body type and goals matter. What is your best advice? Just cut down on your sugars. Just cut your sugars down first. Then after that, you'll be able to start losing some weight. Stay away from all that pop, all that snacks and chips and all that bull. I always tell them, you are what you eat. If you sit here and you eat a bunch of crap and come to the gym and try to work out, you're probably going to work out like crap. If you're keeping good stuff in your body and you're maintaining that workout, you're going to come and have some great workouts. But you got to stay away from all that bull, and drink more water. I know a lot of these kids are out there drinking pop and Kool-Aid and whatever. It's just drink more water. It's okay to have a pop every now and then, but that stuff sticks to you. You just gotta. That's that mind and mental thing again. About that has to do with a lot of the boxing part of it. So if you want to lose weight, you got to do things different, or you're not going to lose the weight. You definitely got to do things different in order to lose the weight. So if you see, like I said, if you're sitting here and you come here and you do a good workout, I lost like 4 or 5 pounds, and you go and eat 6 tacos and drink some pop, and you just worked out for nothing. You still got to eat good after you worked out. Does that make sense, Abraham? I didn't call you Amir this time. But yeah, that's pretty much about what these are. All them questions were from April. I appreciate all them questions, and I really appreciate that shout out you made to me on my boxing club page. So don't be afraid to, because I know you're listening, because you said you're one of my biggest fans. So don't be afraid to request me as a friend on the personal side. You don't got to be a friend of mine on Facebook on the boxing club. You can be, but you still can be a friend of me on my Facebook page too. Just holler out at me and I'll accept you, and we'll go from there. But that's about all I have for this first part of the podcast. I'm glad you gave me all them questions, because if you didn't, I would have had to wing this whole half hour. I would have had to wing it, because someone was a no-show today. I'm not gonna say any names, but you guys probably already know who it was. It is what it is. I'm not gonna take anything. Maybe he had something come up. Who knows? But we still made it happen, and we're gonna take a little short break and come back to part 2 of this. The Realest Amateur Boxing Podcast with Coach Pena. We out.